Now, today is Easter. Oh, a lot of time has passed, so I briefly told you what I said. But I was worried about the title, so I grabbed the title like this. It's Easter. The tone is so I've revised the section to say it's an experience of resurrection. Here is an overview of the incident. Looking at the contents of today's text, after Jesus died, the women who were very sad and frustrated from Friday night, from Friday evening, from then until Saturday. That time is now the Sabbath. Oh, what time is it? Just one day on a daily basis, from sunrise to sunset, that's one day now. In Israel, from sunset to sunset, this story is told every day. So the first day after the Sabbath, then now the Sabbath, now from Friday evening to Saturday evening until sunset is the first day after the Sabbath. Since it's the first day, what day is it? It's Sunday. The women who missed Jesus at dawn on Sunday have now come to Jesus. So what did these women prepare when they went? I prepared the perfume. But now in Israel, we are people now. When he dies, he will be tied up tightly with salt and tied up tightly for fear that he will. I put it in the royal palace like this, and if I open the lid again, I slam the mochi, so I keep it for 3 days now. But in Judah, they don't do that. Your grave. After digging it up, I put it in it. And after 312, I put the perfume oil on it again. Now that the body is rotting, to get rid of that smell. What kind of nostalgia for the deceased and what kind of tradition would it be to preserve the good? So now those women here also bought products with that in mind. I bought it. On the first day of the Sabbath, specifically at dawn on Sunday, I went to anoint Jesus with perfume. Now, by the way, now nonsense. The initial matter at hand was this, but is it necessary to prepare this fragrance for? Was there or wasn't there? There is no necessity. Why would it be for Jesus? Oh, because you will be resurrected. Because you will survive. Because it is believed that you are deceased, Jesus has. So, you have been buried in the tomb. Now you have been 312. Let's go on the third day and offer perfume to. It's a sign of our respect, a sign of love, and the best we can. That's exactly what came to mind. However, that thought turned out to be completely futile, for Jesus indeed. Even if Jesus had passed away before making a purchase, he expressly mentioned his resurrection after 3. You made a promise. If one believed such claims, it proved to be. What prompted him to engage in actions deemed ineffective? Why was this useless? I couldn't forget about my colleagues, nor did I fully comprehend. I lacked certainty about them. Amongst us Christians, there are countless. At this moment, these women find themselves in close. These are the people who served Jesus, including his own mother. However, this particular. They were making unnecessary efforts because they were not sure about Jesus' resurrection and did not experience Jesus' resurrection. And the second time, who will roll away the stone from the door of the tomb? Despite my longing for Jesus, I proceed to the burial site with items in hand. Yet, as I draw nearer, anxiety descends. Serve me. What happens if Jesus' disciples decide to steal it? You took Roman soldiers and made them guard the gate and block the entrance. There is a 200 Governor Pilate. Who are these women? You knew that, right? So, hey, we might not be able to lift that heavy. I'm really worried about how to remove this stone. And now I had it. When I looked at my personal belongings, when I lifted my eyes, the stones were already rolling away. It was put away. The stone had already been removed. Therefore, those who are not convinced and have not experienced Jesus' resurrection, first of all, have done useless things and made unnecessary efforts, and second, they have made. Who will move the stone? And finally, the third one. These women? I arrived at an empty, a meaningless place, a purposeless, the final resting place? When the women arrived at the tomb, the angels speak. The young man proclaimed, "Fear not, for this youth is an angel, Jesus of Nazareth, the crucified one. He has risen. Look at the linen cloth that Jesus clothed here. It says exactly that. The women journeyed to the tomb seeking. Jesus wasn't present. Why aren't you? Naturally, Jesus could no longer be in the tomb due to his resurrection. In their quest to encounter Jesus, these women gathered spices the previous day and tirelessly sought him at dawn, but their efforts were futile as Jesus wasn't there. The tomb was not where Jesus... Guys, today we are Christians. Today is Easter, so we are offering Easter thanksgiving. Easter, commemorating the housekeeping and resurrection of Jesus on the cross. We also shared the cake and the glass together. That kind of us. If we are not convinced of the resurrected Jesus and do not experience the resurrected, we are still in this faith, the tranquility that instead of a life filled with happiness and gratitude. Today, the representative prayers also prayed that in our lives, we are bound to live in chains of unnecessary worries, and we still groan. No new life, no new hope, no new change as a Christian can ever happen to. But that's right. Those who heard the news that Jesus was resurrected through 4 and met. Faith is created. So try 8 quarters. The women were terrified and ran away from me and were afraid to tell anyone. The verse here that says to come out if you are very surprised and tremble is not so common in the text verse. Also, because this dead person has come back to life, it is depicted as having some fear and something like that. However, the standard 3 translations of the Bible, which says that it was translated closer to the original, translated it like this: they ran out and ran. Where did that come from? Emerging from seemingly useless locations, freeing oneself from trivial worries, and detaching from vain pursuits, one finds a path forward. The group found themselves without options, running out entirely. He runs to the disciples. As depicted in subsequent verses, he hurried to where his followers gathered, exclaiming with fervor, "Jesus is truly alive." News spread quickly among the disciples, who grappled with the astonishing revelation that Jesus was no longer entombed. Against the backdrop of stories from the women, these followers of Jesus were struck and would never let this memory. My disciples will go crazy too. That's possible. Let's go to the tomb and check it out. Then they run to the grave. The disciples went rushing toward the burial site, yet they didn't witness Jesus with them. Why? The place of despair and despair is not Jesus. There are not people who believe in Jesus. The place of worry is not the place of those who believe, not the place of Jesus. Each location associated with Jesus' life, brimming with hope and resonating with the essence. The disciples found themselves in the presence of the risen, embracing and internalizing this moment, emerging with resolute conviction. Subsequently, the disciples embarked on journeys into the wider world to share the impactful message of the resurrected Jesus. Indeed, beloved companions, the crucifixion holds profound significance. The presence of death must not linger within the depths of our souls. It is absolutely essential and to welcome him. By embracing the resurrected Jesus, it's possible to transcend all mundane, avoid fruitless worries, and set sight on the optimistic. We pray for God's blessings in the name of God. Thank God for his grace. Let the hope of the resurrection swell the hearts of the saints of our people, and let the expectation and hope of the veil in their hearts become the power to grasp one